A lot of things are frequently changing. And again, people are not looking to see that you've had the most experience or you're the smartest one in the room. They want to make sure that you're having the best judgment when taking care of these patients. That's what your providers want to see, and that's what's going to keep your patient the safest.
You got potential.
Hey friends, so are you somebody that might be eager to work within the critical care world? Are you a new graduate nurse, a nursing student currently, or somebody that's already a nurse that wants to transition into the ICU? I want you guys to understand that it's possible to do this with no experience at all. If you're somebody that just wants a challenge every day when you're at work, if you want to constantly grow within your profession, if you just like the idea of it, I want you to know that it is possible to do. And I want to have a quick conversation to give you guys some words of advice on how to land that job with no experience at all. So I first want to hit on the point of knowing that your exposure is your experience. So like I said, you can land these jobs without any experience at all, but knowing that any exposure that you've had as a new graduate nurse or an experienced nurse is your experience, right? So you want to tailor that experience or put yourself in predicaments while you are in these roles, if you haven't even entered the workforce at all. But while you are within school, try to insert yourself in the clinicals that are in the ICUs, right? Or the emergency rooms, because those are going to be your more stimulating and challenging, speedy assessments, patients deteriorating, things of that sort that will kind of give you that exposure to what you will experience once you get on these units. And if you are excelling when you are exposed to those things, then I want you to go ahead and feel confident that you can work within the ICU. Every job has training. So if you don't feel that much confidence, just know that they are going to train you properly to safely take care of these patients. That's just what it is. So if you are someone who, again, are in these challenging simulations, your clinicals, if you are someone that has been like the leader or the one that is frequently getting the answers to the questions that your clinical instructor may be asking you correct. And if you get some wrong, that's okay too. Everyone makes mistakes. But if you are someone who is frequently seeing yourself getting those things correct or having the right answer or thinking ahead, that means that you are probably utilizing your critical thinking more than you know. So I want you to feel confident when you are applying to these positions or wanting to be in that position. For my experienced nurses, if you're someone who works on a step down unit, an IMC, or if you work on a regular med surg unit, I want you to understand that you have still been exposed to experiences that will benefit you with landing a job within an ICU. While you may not have experience within an ICU already, you have been exposed to things that will help you land the job. So if you are someone who is noticing when your patients labs are trending downward or their hemodynamics are vastly unsteady or anything of that sort, if your clinical judgment provokes you to escalate a patient when it's needed and that patient is then transferred to an ICU, that is your exposure to experiences that will help you get a job within the ICU. So I want you guys to think about these experiences or exposure that you've had, and I want you to basically self-assess if you think that you are truly ready to be within that role. So again, if you are someone who's frequently getting the answers right, whether you were in clinicals or simulations and you are a student right now, continue to challenge yourself and make sure that you're still trying to put yourself in the ICU clinical rotations or the ER clinical rotations. Speak with your teachers if it's not available and let them know that's really what I want to do. Try to get an internship or work as a tech within those units. For my experienced nurses, again, if you are on a med surg or an IMC floor, if you are frequently doing charge on these floors, or if you are seeing yourself constantly having the more challenging patients within your unit and they are frequently being escalated to the ICU from things that you have noticed within your patient over however long you've had that patient, right? That is you utilizing your critical thinking, and that's going to be to your benefit with getting these jobs. I want you guys to feel confident when applying for these jobs. So definitely do a self-assessment. And if you've had those type of experiences that I've just spoken on or similar experiences, I want you guys to know that you can definitely work in an ICU. If you feel like that's what you are truly destined for, to be into these units and take care of these patient populations, I want you to apply. Right after this video, go and apply. But right now, I want you guys to stop, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Comment below any discussions that you want to have with me about this topic. If you took these tactics that I'm giving you and you applied them, and then it worked for you, or if you have other tips for people, I want you to comment below as well, so we can all just have that conversation on how to land a job within the ICU. So next, I want you guys to think about which ICU setting would be best tailored to you, whether it's a neuro, a pediatric, a cardiac, a neonatal, medical, trauma. Which ICU best fits you? As a new grad, you kind of have a little bit more pull, but likely the trauma ICUs of the world, sometimes the cardiovasculars, they'll still take the new grads. But I definitely want to make sure that you guys have hit that first note as far as having exposure to certain settings within your clinicals and simulations for my new grads. Definitely, or take an internship or work as a student nurse at a facility. So those are the ICUs that you intend on working for, the more challenging ICUs. I want you guys to definitely have that exposure already before applying. For my experienced nurses, if you're working in an IMC, a particular step down, or if you are someone that's just on a med surge floor and then you want to then transition into the ICU, I would say working in a medical ICU might be more geared towards you, because of the experiences that you've had within your unit already can be applied to the med surge, into the medical ICU. For instance, trying to get into a trauma ICU or a cardiovascular ICU may be a little bit more challenging for you guys because you've had so much exposure, and that will be a huge culture shock getting into the units. Not saying that it's not possible, especially if you have years of experience and you have been in leadership roles. You definitely still can. I don't think anything out there in the nursing world is impossible for anyone. But again, I'm all about self-awareness as well too. If you think that you have had multiple exposures to clinically changing things within your unit, within your patient, urgent interventions, patient frequently deteriorating, in these things that you have noticed and you feel confident to apply to bigger institutions, a trauma ICU, or cardiac ICU, go for it. Go for it. But if not, but you still want a more challenging environment and you are a med surg or an IMC nurse, I want you guys to think about applying to your medical ICUs or your general ICUs within the community hospitals. That is going to help get you in the door to the critical care world. And from there, you can go beyond further wherever you would like to go. Also, to this point, I want to make sure that you have an interest in whichever specialty of an ICU that you choose. So if it's a neuro ICU, a cardiac ICU, a pediatric ICU, don't go work with peds if you are not in favor of working with children, working with their parents, hearing multiple people have decision-making factors in it, working with multiple groups of people, whether it's pharmacy, social workers, case management. Those are definitely always going to be had in a pediatric setting. If you are someone who finds yourself not liking stroke scales or neural assessments, do not apply to the neuro ICUs, because that's all you're going to be doing there. All of your patients are going to get an intense neuro assessment, in-depth neuro assessment, sometimes hourly, right? So if you are someone that is not interested in doing that, then I highly recommend not applying to those positions. If you again want to get into the cardiac world, understanding which facility you're going to, what type of surgeries does those surgeons specialize in, or do they frequently do within your institution? Basically, just seeing if you have an interest within that and taking care of those patients. Because again, this is something that you guys are going to be doing on a day-to-day basis for God knows how long. And I would hate for you to get into this position and then not like it because you just chose the wrong ICU setting. So think about it. If you love If you were like a mother baby nurse and you want to work over at NICU, that's perfect for you. Okay. So I want you guys to think about which ICU setting would be best tailored to you and has the most interest to you, because again, you'll be doing this on a day-to-day basis. Landing the job, you want to be able to stand out. If you're a new grad, a student nurse, or an experienced nurse, you want to make sure that you are someone that is frequently able to stand out. And I mean that in the most humblest way, right? Because you still need to possess humility in this setting. The ICU is definitely the most humbling environment, I think, of nursing, because a lot of things are frequently changing. And again, people are not looking to see that you've had the most experience or you're the smartest one in the room. They want to make sure that you're having the best judgment when taking care of these patients. That's what your providers want to see, and that's what's going to keep your patient the safest, is that you have the best clinical judgment for them in that present moment, because things change so fast. So I want you guys to stand out in ways. If you are a new grad nurse or a student nurse, I want you to be someone who has already interned or is interested in interning or working as an extern within an emergency room, an ICU, or an IMC even. I want you to be someone who's already put yourself into that environment while you're in school. That shows managers that this person was able to time manage enough to go to nursing school, but then also able to handle while working in this other setting. Also, if you're not able to do that just because of time management or it's not available near hospitals around you, I want you guys to reach out to whatever units you were thinking of working in and requesting for a shadow day, asking them if there's a way that you can get exposure to the unit from a shadow day, or if they have any volunteer programs that will set you aside from other candidates and also help get you exposure to those said units to help you decide if it is right for you or not, or if an additional ICU setting may be, more fitting for you. For my experienced nurses, I want you to stand out by being someone who has already been a charge nurse within your unit. If you are helping with precepting, if you're a primary preceptor, these are ways that you will stand out compared to other candidates that may be applying to this. Have you gotten certain certifications that may be applicable to the position you are already applying for? That will show that you have taken initiative to put your career to the next level, and you are going to stand out compared to other candidates within that position. And if you haven't already done those things, do them now. Request it of your manager now, or whoever is in leadership that can help you. If you are not already doing these things, self assess yourself if moving into a more challenging environment, such as a critical care unit, is best fit for you now. I would highly suggest that you wait until you do get these experiences within your unit so that you are able to stand out. And that can take a matter of time of like 3 to 6 months, but you want to be someone who is going to stand out. Again, managers are not going to hire you based upon your experience. They want to hire you off of your judgment. They want to understand that you are going to make the best judgment for your patients when you have them in front of you based on their clinical presentation or things that you see going on with them. The best way to do this is to show them that you do stand out. So yes, guys, after watching this video, I want you to understand that you can land a job within the ICU with no experience at all. I want you to have confidence when applying. I want you to have confidence when you're walking into that interview. And when you ultimately get the job and you're walking into the orientation phase, I want you to know that you do belong in this position, even without experience at all. But I want you also to understand the points that I did hit in this video of knowing that your exposure is your experience and making sure you're putting yourself in the position to get that set exposure through different ways that I've spoke about here. I want you to make sure that you pick an ICU setting that most interests you, that most fits you, and what you see to be for your future. You don't want to work in a facility or a special unit that specialize in one thing that you aren't really interested in. You're not going to grow there. You're going to feel like you don't belong, and you're going to maybe hate your job. I also want you guys to make sure that you are working on ways of standing out, or think of ways that you have already stood out. You should be someone that is already standing out in your group settings, whether it's you in, again, simulation, your class, or whatever else. or if you're an experienced nurse and you're standing out within your unit from preceptorships, from precepting, or you're the charge nurse or a leadership role, I want you guys to be someone that is already standing out. And if you don't, I want you to start, okay? So take that helpful tip and please go to your managers and ask them, how can I do this? Lastly, I want you guys to have that self awareness. I want you guys to boost up your resumes and prep yourself, but also possess humility, okay? Because you need to go into this setting with an ability to being able to be coachable. You want to show them that you're able to learn. While you may have been, again, the more standout person, that you are not someone that lacks humility, okay? That is going to be used to your benefit with moving forward. So yes, guys, don't forget to like and subscribe to this video. I think this was a great topic and I've always wanted to talk to you guys about this. So please feel free to comment below anything else, or if you are a nurse that has watched this and you have a different experience or a certain particular question, please feel free to comment it below and we will have this discussion. Thank you guys.